Welcome in, everybody, to Betting Pros. It's time to place your bets. It is me, Joe Pisapia, and this is BP NFL. It's time to look ahead to the best bets at Week 16. We're fired up. We're running on fumes. We're a little goofy today, and it's probably a good thing, though. We're nice and loose today for the show, and we're going to help you hopefully win some money in Week 16. We got games on Saturday. We got games on Sunday, games on Monday. We got games all over the place. And of course, if you want to make sure you're getting the edge on all of your wagering, make sure you download the Betting Pros app, sync your sports books for free, use the betting systems, use the prop bet cheat sheet, use the tools to make you more successful in the world of NFL betting and whatever you decide you want to bet in the world of sports. Gentlemen, it's Week 16. We're all a little punchy. I know both of you are going to start off here with a contrary play to my feelings. I think the Baltimore Ravens have finally had it with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers have been exposed a little bit. I'm worried about George Pickens. Now, look, as of recording this, I don't know if he's full practice today. If he practices in full today and tomorrow, I might change my tune about this. But right now, the Ravens come away with the victory. Therefore, that doesn't mean that the Steelers still can't cover. So, Terrell Furman, here we go again. Mike Tomlin, underdog on the road. They always handle Lamar Jackson, blah, blah, blah. You're continuing the narrative, aren't you?
Yes, I mean, I just think it's funny that you're going against it, and it's yet to prove anything wrong in any spread where the Steelers and the Ravens, Tomlin and Harbaugh have gone up against each other, and Harbaugh has been favored by 4 or more points. Harbaugh has not covered the spread. He has not covered this line against him. Lamar Jackson hasn't been able to get it done against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, this Tomlin team is built off of playing close games. Last time that the Ravens were actually able to get a win in this series, it was 16-14. I mean, this is literally what they do. They play close games in these matchups. And even if this is the not prototypical game where, hey, we see this Steelers team be able to air the ball out on this Baltimore defense, which has been bad all year. We see Lamar continue an MVP type season going forward and be able to move the ball on the Steelers front. At the end of the day, these games are always close. This is a contested conference. This is essentially for first place here. Like, you're in the driver's seat if you're able to go out here and have a good performance and get a win here. I think that this is going to be both sides getting up for this game, and it's going to be a close game. Plus 6.5, a touchdown between these two teams is way too many points with Tomlin's track record against this team as a dog, with this team's track record with the divisional games in this division overall. They're always typically contested, and I would like to add on to the fact that Tomlin right now has a money line price of plus 250. You don't see that often. Sometimes you are gifted things, and this Christmas is right around the corner, and this seems like it's going to be the gift that keeps on giving. So I'm backing the Pittsburgh Steelers here, plus the points, and I'm sprinkling on the money line. I may have a Steelers money line parlay with another team already in the chamber for this weekend.
All right, Erickson, pile on here. Tell me why I'm wrong, and this isn't the time Lamar finally exercises the demons of the Pittsburgh Steelers that have given him fits throughout his entire career.
I mean, he can win, and maybe he plays a little bit better, but they're not winning by 6.5 points. Like, I think that the injuries for the Steelers are being overblown. Like, yeah, okay, George Pickens probably not going to play. TJ Watt limited. He's probably going to suit up. They're going to give him some medicals, and he'll be good to go. So I think that he's going to end up playing in this game. And look, we've just seen this over and over and over again. Last 6 times, Steelers have been underdogs against the Ravens. They've won 6 times in a row, as not even as favored as the underdogs. And looking at both sides of this matchup, right? So not even from Mike Tomlin's side, whichever team is catching at least 3 points has covered the spread in 80% of matchups between Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin. The process: take the underdog in Ravens Steelers. That's all you do. And then you go enjoy your family and go enjoy the family festivities, and don't sweat it, because you're going to come back fourth quarter. It's going to be a tie game, and a field goal is going to win it. And it's probably good. So, and we'll see again who has the better kicker.
That doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy with Justin Tucker's been playing this year.
Oh, so, I mean, who's got the better kicker? Chris Boswell in fantasy?
Boswell doesn't miss. He doesn't miss.
I mean, look, last time they played, how did the Steelers win? With 6 field goals. Mm-hmm. That's how they won. So, yes, Pickens missing him is...
I'm living in the present and the future. That's where I'm living. Also, fun fact here. Ready for a fun fact? Depending on, again, George Pickens' availability for the game, the Steelers are 3rd in total offense in the league when George Pickens played this year. They are 32nd when he's not. So there you go, everybody. If he is not in this game for whatever reason, or comes out of this game, Just saying. I think it's going to be very difficult if the Ravens have any lead for Pittsburgh to catch up. But it'll be fun regardless. Standalone game 2 on Saturday afternoon. Love this. I'll be glued to this one. I'm sure everyone else will.
Well, kind of standalone game. We got college football
Well, you got college
playoff
football
around.
too.
I
Well,
mean, they really stacked the slate on a Saturday here.
They sure
I
did.
don't know if I have enough screens available for all
Scott
these games.
Bogman's on overload. He's got his Steelers and his Texas Longhorns on at the same time. It's going to be out of control. Like,
Oh, that's a
hopefully things work
crazy
out well.
household. That's a crazy household. Oh man.
Well, hopefully things work out well for at least one of them. Hopefully Texas, especially, because otherwise, if they both lose, it's wellness check time on Scott Bogman on Sunday morning. Let's talk about the Bengals. They are going to be this week facing a different quarterback than they maybe expected. So DTR is going to get some playing time for the Cleveland Browns. Cincinnati Bengals are 7.5-point favorites right now, and that seems very comfortable for you, Terrell. I know the way the Bengals offense has played has been outstanding. I don't think the Browns have an answer for Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. The problem is always the defense. So I don't know if DTR can give them enough spark to cover this, and you seem to also agree that it might be just out of reach.
Well, you actually said the thing that I'm worried about here. The only thing I'm worried about in this game, ironically enough, with all the things that are going wrong, I mean, with everything that's going wrong on the defensive side of the ball for the Bengals, with everything that's going around in the coaching staff, and I mean, I've heard other people in the space say that it's very clear that Joe Burrow does not like his head coach anymore. I haven't seen it per se. But there's a narrative that is floating around out there that Joe Burrow is ready for a head coaching change and all of that and blah, 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 blah,
Well,
blah.
Joe Brady's going to be certainly available.
Well, I think that the last thing and the thing that scares me the most about this is the fact of Joe Burrow just struggles against this Browns team. I mean, he does. They just have his number, and they just constantly. And Myles Garrett gets to Joe Burrow, and for somehow, some way, Myles Garrett is out there playing with an eye patch and one eye, and he's just perfectly fine. Like they're just allowing this to happen. Like I don't know. I feel like there's some type of wellness thing that I would want of a guy.
Back in the old days, Undertaker had the half mask going on there when he broke his nose. You remember that, the orbital bone or whatever it was they broke. It was a good look for him.
Yeah, did it work out too well for him?
It's very Phantom of the Opera, but eventually he got his revenge. Yeah, eventually.
Nonetheless, just like you, and for no reason having the disdain about Tomlin in the game prior, I have this disdain about the Browns and just believing that the Browns are going to be able to get this done even with DTR. Like I think DTR is going to be giving the Bengals the ball in favorable position. If you give Joe Burrow the ball in favorable position, he's going to put points on the board. Through everything in my gut is telling me that I have to take the Bengals here, even though Joe Burrow is not good against the Browns. I know this is a flowchart game. I know you see all the things you have. Oh, are the Steelers and the Ravens playing each other? Take the dog. Oh, are the Steelers and the Browns playing each other? Take the Browns. Well, this is a flowchart game where Joe Burrow struggles against the Browns, but I think he's going to go out here and just go out and light them up. Like this is their penance. This is what the Browns get for sitting Jameis. They are going to get destroyed by Joe Burrow in this team. I'm laying 7.5.
All right, let's go to the Chiefs game here. Now, Patrick Mahomes has been practicing, so I guess maybe the high ankle is something he can soldier through yet again. Again, a little bit less rest time. That's also not the ideal scenario. But regardless, you have been a chief troll of the Houston Texans most of the year, Erickson. And it seems like you're going to go and just bury your head in the sand again and say, hey, I don't care how bad that ankle is. We're still going to go with Patrick Mahomes at home, finding a way to cover the 2.5.
Yeah, because the Texans aren't the Chiefs talked about how bad they are against the spread. Well, the Texans are right holding hands with them. Just being a team that you just cannot trust to cover any type of point spread. And I think we're getting value on the Chiefs because of this ankle thing. But it seems so clear, and history has told us that this ankle thing doesn't matter. He's going to take the first snap, he's going to scramble for 20 yards, and we're going to think, oh, wow, he looks fine.
And then he's going to limp off the field. He's going to noticeably limp off the field and look really, really bad, and then he's going to come back for the next snap and scramble for another 15 yards.
Yeah, so I like the Chiefs here. And part of the reason, to give them credit, part of the reason why it's hard for them to cover the spread a lot is because they're usually like massive favorites all the time. But when they've been small favorites this year, 3 of their last 4 games by less than 4 points, they've covered those spreads. So I'm looking at this game. I think actually the line has moved to 3 points. it's still a small spread in my estimation. So Houston, again, has been a team that's continues to underwhelm. How are they going to move the ball offensively? I know the Chiefs defense hasn't been as great with some of the injuries in the secondary, but this Texans offense, man, like what is his identity? Like how many yards did CJ Stroud throw for last week? Like not many. So I think that playing on the road Saturday in Kansas City, they're going to be fired up. Holmes is going to get the Chiefs, the defense fired up. So I just can't take Houston again. They're 6-10 on the money line as road underdogs. So if the Texans aren't live to win this game, why would I take them against the spread to cover this 3 or 3.5 points, wherever the line ends up settling at? So I like the Chiefs here. And I think that a fun way to actually get additional action on this game, again, this is a standalone game. You can flex to your partners or friends that you're at Saturday Christmas parties, live bet the Chiefs, right? The Texans have been a team that has jumped out to starts. And you're going to know immediately, I think on that first drive, how does Mahomes actually look? How is he moving around? And if he looks good, he passes the eye test. You know what's not going to pick up on that? The algorithms that are putting out these live odds. So Chiefs money line after the Texans, they score on their opening drive, kick a field goal. You're going to get better odds on the Chiefs money line. So that's another way I like to play this in addition to the pre-game bet.
All right, if you're looking for insights and help and maybe just to talk a little betting and just to hang out with some amazing people in our community, join our Discord, bettingpros.com/chat. It's free, it's fun, and we want you to join us. We got Matt Peralta on there answering questions. We were trying to do some shows on there as well. So it's our ever-growing community. Thousands and thousands of people are on our Discord right now. It's a great place to get some insights, get some help, and talk a little sports as well. Also, don't forget, Betting Pros contest for NFL still going on. BettingPros.com/NFL contest. Still a few weeks left to win prizes. So if you want to make some picks and win something for free, well, this is your last chance to do it. So go to NFL Podcast Group right now if you have the app. And if not, go to BettingPros.com/NFL contest. Sign up today. Again, you don't even have to make a wager. You just have to make some picks and monthly prizes for December. Probably past you, but a couple more weeks are available. So we're still doing the weekly prizes as well. Let's get to the next game on the list for the guys. And finally, all three of us are in huge agreement in this one. I have the Rams at 4.5 in my mind. The fact that it's -3, I think, is absurd. Terrell, take it from there.
So, The Athletic, credible news outlet, by the way.
Yes.
Just would like to throw out there. Very credible news outlet in The Athletic. Posted at 6:55 a.m. this morning. Joe Douglas had an offseason trade lined up for then Broncos receiver Jerry Jeudy. Jets owner Woody Johnson did his own research on Madden and decided Jeudy wasn't worth the price. The owner felt Judy's player rating in Madden NFL quotations, because this is a video game, the popular video game, was not high enough.
In all fairness, one of my dear friends works for Madden in that rating system. One of our old friends from NFL.com, Matt Franciscovich. So they take it very seriously, but you would think that the NFL GM might have a little bit more to work on than Madden.
Last year, Woody Johnson started including his teenage sons in some Jets meetings. Their involvement clarified for some employees. By the way, I want you to know this is The Athletic. This is not Dunk Central or
TMZ.
Or what's the guy, Dove Kleinman, whatever his freaking name is,
real.
whatever you call him. I don't even know what his name is because he's not real. This is The Athletic that is saying this. Last year, Woody Johnson started including his teenage sons in Jets meetings. Their involvement clarified for some employees Woody's increased propensity to share opinions from social media and various outlets. I cannot believe... First of all, I had this written down before any of this came out, and the fact that I woke up this morning to this information just makes it so much simpler that you just lay the points with the Rams here, -3. You don't question it. This Jets team is absolutely horrible, and now you're telling me you're getting the Jets off of a win?
Off of a win, but also 2 weeks in a row of Aaron Rodgers playing well in the state of Florida against lesser teams, where it's nice and warm in there. It's going to be 20 degrees. Old people like me, I'm telling you, we don't like being out there in the cold. We don't like it.
It's the fact of Mac Jones. That defense make Mac Jones have confidence, and that's why I was off air telling Joe that, hey, you might have to bet the Jags this week because this is a different Mac Jones. This is Mac Jones with confidence, and it's because the Jets defense gave him that confidence.
Yeah,
I mean, Matthew Stafford is going to walk in here and throw all over this defense. They don't stand a chance.
I can hear the people in the chat now too, and in the YouTube comments. Oh, what are you talking about, Joe? He played in Green Bay all those years. How did he play in that last playoff game against the 49ers a couple of years ago? How'd that work out? Just out of curiosity, was that Aaron Rodgers' best performance? He is a shell of what he was. Don't get fooled by the last couple of weeks in Florida, because the last couple of weeks in Florida, it was a little bit more wide open. He took some shots. Guys were wide open. The Rams have something to play for.
Would you believe people are betting the Jets? There are people out
they're
there
all
that
over
are constantly
betting the Jets.
People have been betting the Jets all year long.
But Erickson,
This is ridiculous.
a lot of this, I know you're on this game too, so we'll just shift over to your thoughts about it. But a lot of this also has to do with the last time we saw the Rams and how miserable it was. So people are looking at that and having, I think, a very strong recency bias towards that. And then a very strong recency bias to how Aaron Rodgers has looked the last 2 weeks. That's why the line is at 3. But the Rams have something to play for here. They are right here for this division. They're right here for the playoffs. They have a better quarterback. They have a coach. It would have been a better coach no matter who was on the other side of the Jets for the most part. So I just don't get this one at all. This line to me is just very strange.
Yeah, I think it's just you're seeing the public money pouring on the Jets. Like that's the reason they've been favorites all
It's
year
the
long.
anti-vaxxers.
So I think, and even the trends point so strongly in favor of the Rams as a road favorite. They've covered 7 of the last 8 games as road favorites. They're 4-0 against the spread on the road over the last 4 games. So again, this team is used to not playing with home field advantage. They don't have home field advantage wherever they go. So I don't think that the weather for a Los Angeles team is going to be too concerning. I think Matthew Stafford's going to be able to carve up this Jets secondary that's looked pretty bad against some pretty bad. I mean, Mac Jones looked good against this Jets secondary last week. So I think that Stafford and company are going to be able to roll here. I mean, the Jets, so the times that they actually haven't been favored this year, which far and few between, because it seems like everyone wants them to win these games. 0-4 straight up and against the spread as underdogs. When they're expected to lose and when the market has expected them to lose, they have lost, and they've lost by more than the spread number. So the Rams, look, I hate to label something as lock of the week, but I mean, betting against the Jets.
Would you tease it up to a touchdown, you guys? I feel like I would. Yeah. I feel like I'm just, that's where I'm at with this. I'm just mad at this point. Like,
either that, or you could look at, so the one thing the Jets have been good at has been scoring quickly. So you just Rams money line after the Jets. Yeah, just wait for the Jets to jump up. I mean, that's such a big event. Like, that's something I'm trying to do a little bit more of, like with live betting being an option. It's just like, hey, whatever side you're on, if they fall behind because the first team just scores first, then just bet on that team. Like, it doesn't, I mean, teams come back from 7-0 and 3-0 all the time. Like, it's constant. So especially when you see trends of teams that jump out to leads and then not hold on to leads like the Jets, I think the Rams are a good live bet as well.
Just share your if you're betting Jets +3 here, just share your vaccination status. That's gonna tell us all we need to know. That's gonna tell us all we need to know. Don't even say anything else. Don't just share your vaccination status.
You're watching the Enigma? Are you enjoying the Enigma on the Netflix?
I think if you share your vaccination status, it just explains a lot of things. You know.
Yeah. Well, I'm immunized from the Jets being favorites ever again.
He is such.
That's what I'm.
He is such an ass.
Well, I mean, I think the interesting thing about that, honestly, is at the end of the day, I only got the first episode through, and the constant presence of the greatest surgeon in the world and the greatest therapy people and all the science around him constantly. I just thought that was really interesting. All the medical science he wanted when it was about him trying to play football again and be healthy, when it was all about him. But I digress. Let's talk about the Eagles for a moment here. They're going to be taking on the Washington Commanders. Commanders, I think this is an important game for them. Not just, standing wise and playoff wise, but really, like, this is the measuring stick. You played the Eagles earlier in the year. The Commanders have had some ups and downs in their season. They've bounced back. Jaden Daniels, I think, is healthier than he's been in a long time. I think this is a great measuring stick now of how good are we and how good do we have to get next year to compete with the Eagles at the top of this division. So I think the Commanders are going to go out there with everything they've got. 3.5 is the number. You're comfortable with the Eagles side of this, correct, Terrell, as favorites?
Yeah. I feel pretty good about the Eagles here. And honestly, I mean, it's a little bit of because if the Eagles end up losing this game outright, and I mean, I might lose some money, but I'm gonna be happy. So I mean, I'm cool that this is an emotional hedge for me here, and the Eagles are gonna keep playing well. Then I might as well try to profit off of it. And I think this is a good spot for a line that's too low for a market that is kind of not giving the Eagles, quote unquote, the respect they kind of deserve. I don't think they deserve it. It's something that's just off about this team to me, but it's a lot more that's off about the Commanders to me. I think that Cliff Kingsbury has now reached a part of his season where his offense has gotten figured out by the rest of the league, and it's not what it was in the beginning of the season. It's not as explosive. It's a lot of throws to the sideline, and I just think that's not how you beat this Eagles team. For years in the NFC East, it has always attacked this Eagles team over the middle. Push the ball north and south, attack them over the middle, run straight forward, and just take the fight to them. But when you start playing passive, when you start throwing the ball to the sidelines, trying to make guys miss, trying to take advantage of the corners, that's where they really wrap up and they really make your offense look very, very childlike. And so I just, that's all I see from the Commanders right now. I just see them not being super aggressive down the middle of the field, down attacking down the and their offense and attacking going forward, going north and south with the football. They're going side to side a lot, and that's how you lose to the Eagles. I think it's a bad matchup. That's ultimately what I think it is. I think it's a bad matchup. I think the Eagles defense is going to have something to say against this offense. And I have never been too high on the Washington Commanders defense at all. So I think that they'll be able to move the ball and find ways to score. I could see this being a 7-point game rather easily. Are the Eagles going to go out here and destroy them? Is this going to be close throughout portions of the game? Yeah, absolutely. But I think that they'll be able to win by at least a touchdown at the end of the day. So I like the Eagles side of this.
Detroit and Chicago. Detroit's going to be outdoors with Jared Goff. Sometimes that's not the best setting. Also, the injuries. The Lions, just for the record, 22 players on IR or out as of the 18th. Just for perspective, the league average is somewhere around between 10 and 12. Like the injuries take their toll. But my goodness, they have taken their toll on especially the defensive side of the football. Now no David Montgomery in this game as well. So there's a lot to break down here. That being said, Andrew, this is a tough one for me because I can take one side and say, okay, the Bears have been absolutely awful. They're a hot mess. Caleb Williams, disaster, all that stuff. But I can also look at the other side and say all the injuries to the Detroit Lions defense, the injuries to Montgomery, you would think the Lions are just able to handle their business, handle this game. But do you think it's underwhelming from a point total when all said and done, potentially, when you factor in all of the health of the Lions, all the performance issues of the Bears, and then on top of that, even on offense, not having a piece like David Montgomery, who's been so crucial for them?
No game streams 10-7 like Lions at Bears on the road in December. I just, my jaw dropped when I saw that this total was at 48 points. This is the same total. This is the same total as it was in Detroit, the Coors Field of the NFL. This is and that game went under the total of 48 points. The Bears couldn't score in the entire first half of the game. So you alluded to at the top, I want to fade Jared Goff outdoors, playing in the cold. Again, we're not expecting any type of snow or any rain or wind, but it's just cold. It's gonna feel under
Chicago
32
in
degrees.
December.
Yeah. So and the Lions haven't played outdoors all year long. They played one game outdoors, and it was in the rain. Again, they came away with the win against Green Bay, but Jared Goff didn't have a crazy statistical outing. So for me, I just love the game total under. I don't want to sweat sides here because I think this game is going to be weird. Again, you talked about all the injuries with the Lions. It's a divisional game. The Bears covered the spread the last time these two teams played each other. And the Bears, for all their ups and downs this season, they've been really good at home in divisional matchups. They covered against the Packers. They should have won that game. They covered against the Vikings. They should have won that game too. That game went into overtime. So I think this game is going to be a lot closer, but my faith in the Bears it's non-existent, right? So I just want to bet against both teams. And how do I do that? You take the under in the game. The Bears offense couldn't score against the Patriots defense at home. So I don't care how many injured players there are on the Lions because I have no faith in this Bears offense. Look at just the trends too. The last 3 road games for the Detroit Lions, which have been mostly in domes, have gone under the projected total. When you look at the Chicago Bears, 11 of the last 14 games as underdogs have gone under the projected point total. 48 points in December in Chicago is ludicrous. Take the under.
All right. I feel pretty good about that one. I logged that one as well on the BettingPros app. Make sure you follow us too. You can follow Terrell's picks, my picks, Erickson's picks as well. Let's switch gears to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Dallas Cowboys. Now, this is another one where Baker Mayfield, obviously a little bit of an injury issue earlier in the week in practice. We're hoping that he'll play this weekend. It seems to be trending in that direction, at least as of now. Dallas Cowboys have been a hot mess at home for, well, a little over a year now, it feels like. I mean, I think that's where we're at with this team. I know they rallied a little bit last week, but being the Panthers is not exactly making me feel better about them. And the Buccaneers have handled their business. When he is an underdog, it's when we like Baker Mayfield more. But do you think there's anything to the point where, Terrell, he's going into Dallas, and going into Dallas feels like you're an underdog anyway in that sense, and this is something where we should be on Baker Mayfield? I don't know, Andrew was making that point yesterday to me.
No, well, I don't think anybody should feel like they're an underdog going in Dallas because this Dallas Cowboys team is absolutely horrible. I mean, I'll just say to the people, you're welcome that I didn't have Giants plus 8.5 as the last play on the card here. But I looked at the Dallas game and I said, oh wait, I just have to fade Dallas again. But it was very, very close to me sitting here talking about Giants plus 8.5 because that's an incredibly wild number to lay with the rookie quarterback and the Atlanta Falcons, who we all know can't be trusted. If Kirk Cousins was playing, I definitely would have had Giants plus 10 on the card, by the way. And I text the guys that. But nonetheless, we're talking about Tampa Bay. We're talking about the second worst team in the NFC East, which is the Dallas Cowboys. And we're talking about how this is going to be the Mike Evans show. This is going to be Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield putting on a show, pushing this offense, destroying a bad defense, and Mike Evans getting paid. By the way, do you know Mike Evans for this season only needs 18 catches, some 250 yards, and a touchdown to get $3 million? I mean, they're going to pick on this defense with Mike Evans all day. They're going to be able to move the football. They're going to be able to run the football on this terrible Cowboys defense that hasn't been able to stop the run literally all season at all. And then, I mean, Cooper Rush. And there is a chance that maybe he and CeeDee Lamb find this connection and Cooper Rush kind of forces and keeps the Cowboys in this game. But after watching that Bengals game on Monday night where I bet the Bengals and watched the Cowboys just squander and give me a cover that I probably should not have had, I have no worries about Tampa Bay being able to cover for here. This Dallas Cowboys team is horrible, and I would say the only reason that they are worse than the New York Giants is because the Giants had no expectations at all whatsoever for this season. People really thought the Cowboys were going to the playoffs, and some said they were going to win the Super Bowl. This is very, very disheartening for Cowboys fans, and I'm just going to tap dance on the grave a little bit more. Give me Tampa Bay laying 4.
All right, Erickson, let's talk about the Buffalo Bills. They're flying high. Josh Allen's MVP, yada, yada, yada. Except the fact that defense has given up about 90 points in the last 2 weeks. So, that being said, I know our Patriots are not exactly world beaters. However, the total for this game is 46.5 is what you're getting, basically. Are you going over or under that, considering how the Buffalo Bills defense has given up points at an alarming rate? Now, I understand the Rams offense and the Lions offense a tad better than the Patriots. I will grant you that. But it feels like the Patriots can at least put up 14 and maybe drive this to an over, yes?
100%. I mean, this is how I enjoy Patriots games, just betting the over. It's honestly so fun to do because I just root for points. I root for Drake May. I root for the defense to be horrible because it is. And I get to root for Josh Allen and the next Josh Allen to go head-to-head scoring points in this game. So the Buffalo Bills this season, you're looking at what they've done at home. All their games have gone over the total. Every single game that they've played has gone over the projected points total. So, and I look at the Patriots, similar trends towards the over, 5-1 towards the over. I just think that Drake May is making enough off-script plays to keep this game not within striking distance necessarily, but enough to keep the pedal to the metal for Buffalo to, hey, let's keep on scoring points. And, you know, there is something about the Bills-Patriots where the Bills remember all those games where the Patriots were driving up the score against them. So I think that the Bill, again, we've seen it before with this team recently. I mean, there was a game where Josh Allen, I think, had a perfect pass rating and they didn't even punt one time. And they absolutely destroyed the New England Patriots. So I think that's what's going to happen here. I think the Bills are going to put up a ton of points. I think that the Patriots can do enough to put this game over 46.5 points. And yeah, so I like the over a lot in this game.
All right, let's look for the upset of the week. Had a good run there, and then unfortunately the Seattle finally, came back down to earth. Oh well. But the one thing I was very right about during that run also was the Arizona Cardinals and them not being any good, and them being kind of a paper tiger.
Only against the Seahawks. Against the Seahawks, you're right, but because the Seahawks blew it against the Packers.
They looked so good last week too. No,
what they did? They destroyed the Patriots.
I didn't take anything away from that Patriots win.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not taking too much out of that. All I can tell you is that the Arizona Cardinals are in a weird spot here because Carolina Panthers have been Very competitive against the Eagles, competitive against the Chiefs. Yes, they lost to the Cowboys. Yes, that happened. But I don't think they're really faced. Now, let me tell you, I don't want this to happen because I have Carolina Panthers ticket for 3.5 wins under. So I want to cap this here. Like, this is it. I don't want the Panthers to win any more games. But I feel like they've got a shot at this one. So if there's going to be an upset, it's going to be the Carolina Panthers at home, plus 180 on the money line here. And there's going to be some cold weather in this game too. And that's a little bit out of the comfort zone for Kyler Murray. My frustrations with Trey McBride boil over. The fact that you could have Trey McBride and you could have Marvin Harrison Jr. and somehow this offense is still lackluster in many times. How does Trey McBride not have a touchdown? It's absurd. How do you take the best route runner you had coming into the league and run 2 routes with him? I don't know if it's a Kyler Murray issue, an OC issue, a combination of the two, but whatever it is, it ain't working for me. And I think the Carolina Panthers just might hang in this game long enough to pull one out. So give me the Panthers plus 180 on the money line. That's the upset special of the week. And if you take that along with our Rams on the money line at minus 178 and the Minnesota Vikings, because, now the Seattle Seahawks have to pay.
You're turning on your Seahawks.
Yeah. Look, my loyalty goes only as far as the next week here. That's where it goes. You take the Vikings on the money line, the Panthers on the money line, the Rams on the money line, get plus 621. So there you have it, everybody. I think that's a fun little way to spend the weekend, and hopefully you make some good choices on your own by downloading that BettingPros app, syncing your sports books for free, and of course, continue to subscribe to the BettingPros podcast wherever you get your pods, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, and ring that bell till it goes ding for notifications. That'll do it for us, but the story of the game goes on. For Andrew Erickson and Terrell Furman Jr., I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids. Enjoy Week 16.